What's up, guys? Welcome back to Roensch Capital Charts. Today we're taking a look at Marathon Digital stock, ticker symbol MARA, on a variety of time frames in anticipation of the next trading day, Monday, March 11th. All right, guys, Marathon Digital stock here on Friday finished the day up $1.68 a share. That's a heck of a move for Mara stock here, 7.71% upside. Listen, it is down about 36 cents after hours, but you guys know what I always say about after hours, right? Whether it's in your favor or going against your bias. See how low volume is? There's no business-specific catalyst in the after hours driving the movement, so volume is incredibly low, and it's really easy to kind of bully stocks or pump them up for that matter after hours when volume is so low. So just make sure you take that after hours with a grain of salt, and let's get started here with our daily ritual, the volume profile analysis on the 5-minute chart. Now guys, Marathon Digital was today's winner for the wild card stock of the day that you guys voted on. It got the most votes. So make sure to head down to the comment section and comment your ticker. That'll be your vote for Monday's set of videos for Monday's wild card stock that I will cover. And by the way, please subscribe to the channel. My goal here is to hit 4,000 subs by market open Monday. Can't do it without your help. I appreciate it. Let's take a look here. Now, obviously, I'm looking for, well, I suppose it's obvious if you've been watching for a little while. I'm looking for big changes in volume that correlate with obvious moves in stock price. But again, the part that most people miss, I think, is that it has to be looked at through the lens of what is contextual for that time of day. So for me today, the two obvious moves are clearly that open and then the fade off of that open. Those are the two moves that I'm, curious about. How did the volume look on those? And what we're really trying to do here, the objective is to try to pull out, okay, was there some bias? Because not all moves are created equal, right? You could have an upside move and a downside move that look approximately equal in terms of size of the move, but the market, based on the volume, can tell us, was there a significant bias in one direction or the other? Now, this one here is actually a very, very interesting profile on Marathon Digital because, listen, we expect bigger volume off the open. However, it was actually kind of an average volume candle off the open here on Friday. So we saw very consistent volume off the open on that upside move, whereas typically we get kind of that U shape, that taper off the open into the trough midday, and then you get a bit of a rise into the close. Okay, of course, a U with the right side being usually somewhere about half of what the open was on average. And that's, not necessarily specific to Marathon Digital, but that's on really most securities in the market with, good volume. So we saw very consistent volume on this green move off the open, which is very interesting. But then we saw some choppy, elevated volume on the fade. Now this here, I'm considering that we broke 4 million. However, you guys know I prefer to see at least usually 3 to 4 candles of consecutive volume that's consistently high, whereas this was a pop and quick fade. Now on the back end of that move, we did see, about 4 bars of consistent selling pressure in terms of the volume on those red bars. So really the story here on the pop and a little bit of a fade on Marathon Digital here today is, I think, a little bit of a wash because you have this big pop and selling pressure on the peak, right at that top out of the day, 25.28. But it was so choppy that I think that is kind of offset by the less extreme but consistent volume off of the open. Also considering that we do expect a little more volume off the open, but it was so consistent that I think it's kind of a wash, all things considered here. So an interesting volume profile analysis to say the least. But let's move on here and start taking a look at psychological self-fulfilling prophecy levels that I'm watching come Monday on the 30-minute chart. Now, interestingly here, in the last few days, we've been struggling to reclaim that white line. That's the 50 period. Again, a very psychological level here on a very popular time frame, the 30-minute. Today, we popped up off the open. We got a little retest of that level and a huge high volume pump upside, a test of the 200 period, at least on the 30-minute in particular, and then a fade. However, this move off the open allowed us to reclaim in the intraday session in regular trading hours this channel, which is, that's a beautiful thing to see. If you're a bull, a reclaim of that level is nothing to scoff at. So bulls, here on the 30-minute in particular, primary objective come Monday, at least for me, is let's actually confirm a break and hold of the 200 period, getting a little bit of a retest potentially after a high volume push through, low volume retest, high volume pull away. Okay, that's not just an intraday thing, right? I'd like to see that still be the case upon the close come Monday. And of course, bulls, any retest of this 50 period, going to want to see that hold. Bears, any upside test of this 200 period here on the 30-minute chart, going to want to see a high volume rejection off of there, but the primary objective if you're a bear come Monday is going to be a high volume break downside through the 50 period. If you see a retest at all, low volume retest, and then a high volume confirmation of that hold as resistance on the 50 period here on the 30-minute chart. Let's move on now to the 4-hour chart and take a look. You can see here that the 4-hour is certainly in play. We reclaimed what we gave up on a Thursday there here on Friday, that 200 period moving average here on the 4-hour chart. Similar deal here on the 4-hour as the 30-minute chart. However, just understand we're looking at about a 12.5% move upside to that 50 period. You know, it's really not a small move by any means. However, here in the channel, if you're a bull, you're looking to make headway toward that 50 period moving average. I mean, a reclaim would of course be beautiful, but that would require a pretty big green day. Any downside test of the 200 period, bulls going to want to see that hold. Bears, ideally you'd like to see a repeat of Thursday, a break downside, and a hold through the close. Now, let's move on to the most important chart of all, that is the daily, which is, you can see here, incredibly in play. We reclaimed the 50-day moving average here on the daily chart. Now, guys, the reason why I'm always using the 50 and the 200, either period or day, moving averages here, they're just simple moving averages, is not because they're magic. It's nothing like that at all. I'm using those, you know, you'll notice on the 30-minute, 4-hour, and daily, because those are, at least in my opinion, the most popular time frames, and they're used by everybody. Those moving averages are used by everybody on those exact time frames, institutions, funds, retail investors, retail traders. So you have a huge sample size of people, and algorithms for that matter, programmed by humans, looking at the same stuff, making it a self-fulfilling prophecy, oftentimes. So, the obvious story, the simple story on the daily for me is always the one I want to look at, because I want to look at what the most eyeballs are looking at and making the most decisions around. So, the clear story here, come Monday, bulls going to want to see a confirmed hold, because this is just a one-day hold of that 50-day moving average. We gave it up on Thursday, right? Going to want to see a confirmation of a hold of that 50-day moving average. I don't mind if we retest it and bounce, or we just pull away from here. A hold, just a close above the 50-day on Monday is great. Listen, even if it's just kind of like a flat day, fine. It doesn't need to be a green day for it to be a win for bulls here come Monday, at least in my opinion. Again, a short-term win. These analysis videos are geared always toward the next trading day. So we have to be contextual about the time frame that we're looking at here, right? Bears, since you're kind of playing on, you know, the opposite side of that line, you're going to require a little bit more here. You're going to require a downside break and a hold below that level, making it the first day hold on Monday. If we get a hold beneath the 50-day moving average, that would be like what the bulls got today. It's that first day, and then you'd ideally want to see continuation of that hold below the 50-day on Tuesday, if not, you know, Wednesday as well. So that's what the bears are going to be looking for here come Monday. Bulls close above that level. Beautiful. Doesn't have to be a massive green day by any means. Now, my favorite part of the video here, let's take a look at what was the bias from the options traders here on Friday in Marathon Digital stock. About 500,000 contracts traded. That's a good sample size to work with. 335,000 calls, 167,000 puts. So we are seeing a rather heavy call side bias in Marathon Digital here on Friday. Now, if we break it down by time frame, you can see here, look at this. Every single delta range, right, is leaning to the call side. But the one I'm primarily interested in for the context of this video is the 0 to 20 delta range. Those are going to be those short-term speculators. Not quite as heavy as a lean, right, as the overall call per ratio. But we are still seeing 76,000 calls, about 65,000 puts, a slight call side lean on the short-term speculator side of things as well. Listen, before you head out, don't forget to head down to the comment section and cast your vote. Just comment your ticker. That'll be your vote for the wildcard stock on Monday that I'll be covering here on the channel. Also, if you got value out of this video, please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.